Hey, what's going on guys? Slays here, and today we're going to be covering all the changes coming in patch 1.2 that we know of right now. We're also going to be talking about sandbox balancing and how the meta could potentially change drastically coming with this update. I enjoy talking about balancing and meta shifts, so if this is something you guys really do enjoy, we could make it a common topic on the channel. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. To start things off, I just wanted to say I think this update is going to have a huge impact on how the game plays going forward. So far, the developers have got the game to a pretty well balanced point. Not perfect, but no sandbox will ever be perfect. The thing is that they are practically throwing balance out the window with 1.2 with the introduction of the knowledge potions. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for them and I think they could make for some pretty fun engagements, but by no means is having 8 sorcery charges in this game balanced. Just imagine the chaos. 8 lightning storms that strike 5 times apiece, 8 boulders, 24 toxic clouds. Yes, 24, because the toxicologist class will give you 3 per charge, 8 flash freezes, potentially 8 different immunity phases, 8 tornadoes, and 8 firewalls. There's literally none of these that doesn't sound like a nightmare. Now, I don't believe we'll be seeing everyone in the lobby doing this every fight, since the loot pool should prevent everyone from constantly having this, but it could make final circles very hectic and spammy. This isn't even taking into account that this also grants you additional rune charges. I'm all for goofy stuff in the sandbox. After all, I've played Destiny PvP for years and it is everything but balanced. One thing I think Spellbreak has done a good job of up to this point is making fights not so dependent on loot and more dependent on skill, which is a huge balance to hit with a BR. But this will definitely push that bar closer to loot being more important. Even if you're a god, if someone takes you by surprise with 8 boulders, you're probably dead, let's be honest. And it's not even just boulders. There's so many of these sorceries that if you spam them is absolutely absurd to deal with. I hope I'm wrong about the impact that knowledge potions will have on in-game circles, but we will just have to wait and see. I think the talents will be what really shakes up the meta though. Currently the meta for talents revolve around what we call a 2-2-2 setup. It means that the strongest builds consist of running a 2-cost rune in every slot. Examples would be Runic, Fervor, and Recovery, and Runic, Fervor, and Thirsty, being some of the strongest builds we currently have in the game. The reason why is because most of our current 3-cost talents are not strong enough to necessarily justify being a 3-cost, and arguably some of the 2-cost, such as Recovery, are strong enough to almost be a 3-cost. With all of the 3 new talents becoming 3-cost talents, this will likely make everyone reconsider their builds. Vigor and Ambidextrous being the 2 biggest contenders for sure. A possible new tank build you could run would be to run Stone Shaper, Vigor, Scavenging, and Recovery. You start with 270 HP, get HP and shield on exile, and 50% regen on health damage. For Ambidextrous, you could run Spellslinger, Fervor, and Ambidextrous, or you could run Runic, Scavenging, and Ambidextrous. All 3 builds being super strong in the right hands. Ambidextrous, I feel, will be really strong with high skilled players, especially when using Spellslinger. Situations are about to get a whole lot harder to read in Spellbreak. With this update, combo spells will be exponentially more common and players have access to things previously impossible to have. Before update 1.2, you knew that unless someone was running Conduit, they could only have a maximum of 2 rune charges to try and run away or chase. Now, no matter what class they are, they could have anywhere between 1 and 8 rune charges. Take a minute to let that set in. 8 individual times you could activate the buff for Invis Toxic. 8 flies so no one could run from you even if they tried. Or better yet, repeatedly flying into the air 8 times and throwing boulders over and over and over again. Don't get me wrong, I do like that these knowledge potions are more set to target the new audience of Spellbreak and giving those guys more options to take out the better players that are in their lobbies, which I'm all for. The easier the new player experience is, the more players will have playing Spellbreak, and if we could get all of these new player systems set in place before chapter 1, the better, because we'll bring in more people when the seasons start releasing. I'm excited for this update and you guys should be too, but keep this in mind. We are very quickly moving away from the balance game that Spellbreak is currently. Hopefully you're on board for embracing the chaos because that's what is coming. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys think the knowledge potions will be broken or if you think these new talents will finally shake up the 2-2-2 talent meta. Thursday we will see just how everything shakes out and we might revisit the subject on whether or not this update was good for Spellbreak or not. If you guys enjoyed coming to this TED Talk, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Spellbreak content like this. But until next time, Breakers, I'll see you in the HoloLands.